welcome to the channel and this Goth Family speed build of their new mansion. So what I was planning on doing was to basically move them into the 50 by 50 lot in Willow Creek and just give them a whole new house, because I felt like their mansion where they live in when you get the base game, I felt like it was a little too small for what I was planning on doing with the LP. So if you don't know too much about the Goth family, they're a very prominent family in the Sims universe, and they've been featured in most every game that The Sims has come out with. And if you want to learn more about the Goth family, I go into detail about their backstory and what I'm planning on doing for their personalities and things like that in their Kaz makeover video, which you can go to in the link below. I've linked that for you guys to see. So basically, for their house, originally it was very Victorian and traditional, very dark and old looking. So with their new house, I wanted to try doing a more modern and contemporary styled house, because I thought maybe Bella would like that style more and ask Mortimer, hey, we should have a change when we move. So that's what I did with their house, and I actually took a lot of inspiration from this contemporary modern house that's in Houston, I believe. If you guys ever need inspiration or, just with decorating or with house exteriors in general, if you go on house.com, HOUZ, I think. I'll provide a link below for that as well. But yeah, it's kind of like Pinterest, except it's more geared towards home decor and house builds and remodeling. So you get a lot of really cool inspiration for whatever style you really want. And so, yeah, I took some inspiration from a house that I found on there, as well as a few other interior elements that I saw. And I just thought it was really cool, and I thought it might be really perfect for the Goth family and what I wanted to do with them in the LP. So, yeah. The major color scheme that I wanted to go with for this build was white and black. So you'll see a lot of that in the windows, in the decor, because I felt like it was very glamorous and maybe just a little bit of that dark that they first came with in the game. So yeah. And for the front of the house, I did quite a few balconies and little sitting areas, because I thought that was kind of a different, cool thing to do, because most of the time balconies are in the back of the house. And yeah, I figured, they're on a really nice open property, and maybe they don't really have any other neighbors around. So standing in front of their house or in the back would be really nice. And in the front of the house, there's actually a lake, so I thought that would be a really nice view for your Sims. If you decide to download this house, it's on the gallery. My @name is @Irrelephant7, so you can go ahead and download the house and see more of it, all finished and done. This is just part 1 of part 2, because it took me forever. It honestly takes me forever to do really big houses, because I'm like, oh, what do I want to do? How do I want to design the landscaping? It takes a while. So it's split up into 2 parts. I'm going to try and do other speed builds just in one part as best I can, because I know as both as a viewer and a creator, it gets kind of overwhelming sometimes, if you have an hour-long video to watch and, nobody has time for that. So I'm going to try my best to make other videos in one part, so it makes it easier for you guys. But, I mean, if you guys don't mind sitting through an hour, let me know, and for more extensive builds, I'll maybe split it into a few different parts if you don't mind. So here I thought it was kind of cool to do an inset balcony. That area will be Cassandra's balcony eventually. In the middle of the house, I wanted to do a really open foyer with the staircase going up, and I'm sure you'll see more of that in a little while. I'll knock down the floor and add the staircase. But yeah, and as far as the roof goes, I mean, I thought it might be kind of cool to mix regular roofing with the half walls to make a part of it a flat roof. I thought that was kind of contemporary and modern. I kind of had a hard time making the exterior of the house all white because I wasn't sure what was drywall and what was painted. So sometimes I would go over the same area a few different times just to make sure that it was all painted. So yeah, and with the windows, I noticed that a few of the windows, they weren't the same height as some of the doors, even though they were technically the same for the same wall height. But the doors that I chose, I thought went really well with the aesthetic of the house. And here I was thinking, oh, it might be kind of cool to make the roof lit up, but I just went with a neutral roof color, so it's not distracting or anything like that. And yeah, so yeah, here I'm adding the staircase in the middle of the house. In this little area right here, I was thinking about putting a sitting area. So just with a little bench, maybe there could be a little romantic area if your teen sim, had someone over and they wanted to get away from the rest of the family and just be alone with their significant other. So that's why I have that little area. I thought that might be nice. And with the top of like the middle part, I wanted to make like an overhang to add some dimension to the front part there. And yeah, here I'm just adding and making sure that all the walls are painted white and there's no drywall. I wanted to add trimming to the roof as well as the middle part of the house, but I had some difficulty because of how I laid out the rooms. So what it was doing was the trim was going inside the house and not staying on the outside. But I believe I fixed it eventually. And because it wasn't deleting some of it, yeah, so I just kind of redid the rooms and made sure none of the trim was on the inside. And then I was just adding a foundation. I wanted to add not a super big foundation, but just enough to where you'd be able to have stairs. Would be able to have stairs so it'd look more grand. And here I was adding some half walls to the sides because I thought that might be a really cool detail to make them look like planters. So I added some plants in there, and I made the flooring inside of the boxes using the grass flooring, so it should look pretty natural. So inside of these planters, in the inspiration photo that I was looking at for this house, they had these light fixtures inside of the planter, and I thought it would be really cool to use those white lanterns that I think they came with the base game, but I thought it would be really nice to scale them up and use them as light fixtures. They weren't very bright though, so I added a little light, like one of the outdoor lights inside each of the lanterns, just to make it a little brighter. Excuse me. And a little brighter, a little more prominent. In this little area, it's just a nice, another nice seating area with a fountain. Eventually I'll put like a glass arbor over it. I think that's what it's called. So yeah, here I'm just adding that little seating area with the bench. And yeah, I felt like maybe a more simple landscape design and in the front and as well as in the back. I thought that might be a nice change since they're typically played as really elaborate and fancy and dark. So I wanted to make it really light and modern and clean. So yeah, I really liked it, and I had a lot of fun building this house. It took me forever though. I think it took me like 4 days or so of constantly just building. Yeah, here I'm just setting up the backyard and adding a few trees here and there so there's some shade. And also, by the way, guys, there will be screenshots at the end, so stick around for that. Just a few of my favorite areas in the outside of the house. The next part will be the interior of the house and decorating and adding appliances and furniture and things like that. So here, I don't know if this is a glitch, like, let me know if it happens to you too, but if you add a water fixture and it's pretty close to a walkway or floor tiles, it just like disappears. And later in the build, I was having some issues with the floor tiles as well. They kept disappearing and like making weird shapes. So I don't know what that's all about, but it's been happening to me pretty often. I don't know why, but maybe there'll be a patch or something. And here I was just adding a few little water features in the fountain. I mean, if you're going to have nice sitting areas, I thought it would be nice to have water features that you can kind of listen to while you sit and relax. So that's why I added that there. And at first I thought I wanted to make that little room outside of the house in maybe a bathroom or something, but I don't remember if I ended up making it a bathroom or if I made it into something else. I can't remember. Yeah, so here's just adding the foundation trim. I really liked the flat foundation trim. It just made it look a lot cleaner. And yeah, adding more windows. I wanted to use these longer windows. I thought they looked nice on the side there. Just moving the fountains so they're aligned. I don't know if you guys are like this, but if something isn't perfectly aligned, I get really bothered by it. Oh, here are the lanterns. Yay! I love this little area in the front. I think it looks really pretty. I haven't used these like bigger outdoor lights before, so I was excited to use them. Just adding outdoor lights on the outside, very important. Always check your build at night to see if it's lit up nicely for your Sims. I often forget, so I tried to make sure that I did that early on in the build. And I like these little floor lights. I thought that they were a little bit cleaner than having outdoor lights that are sticking up, because I didn't want to have a bunch of outdoor lights just in a row in that space. So yeah, I thought that looked pretty nice. And then I decided to go with the lights that just have lights going up and down, the wall lights on the sides. I thought it made a nice shape. Yeah, and I've realized that there's more than one black for these doors and windows, so I was just making sure that they were all the same color and same black, because that would have been weird. Yeah, just adding the mailbox up here in the front. And I think I add the staircase here in the middle. It sometimes helps for you to position staircases if you get rid of the floor above first. I know that helps me. Yeah, just adding some railing. I thought the glass railing would be really glamorous and modern for the inside of the house. And yeah, so the front's pretty much done. I mean, I think I'm moving on to the back now. So the back, I wanted to have a feature, the main feature, which is the pool. In the inspiration photo I was looking at, it had like a patio that kind of was dual leveled. So it had the top part, and then it had a step down, and then it had the pool as an infinity pool, and it was so pretty. But of course you can't do infinity pools in The Sims, not really. So that's what I was trying out here, and I thought this area here would be a nice little area for maybe your Sims to do barbecue, and I added a bar in there later. Nice little patio area. But later I wanted to maybe add a wraparound porch, which I did eventually. And I made the pool a little shorter and made this cutout here to add some dimension. I really like the idea of adding a fireplace outside, because I don't really see that too often. So yeah, I made the fireplace in that corner eventually, and you'll see it soon. Just making some more space here for the pool area. One thing that I had difficulty with was making sure that it wasn't too narrow in that back part, because I wanted the backyard to be so grand and big, so I had to keep that in mind. And I also didn't have like an even amount of wall space, so I had to improvise a little bit with the windows. But eventually I just kind of made the wall shorter, yeah, just so it was even. In this area, I thought maybe, oh, what am I doing here? Yeah, I'm just fixing, because I decided to make this back area a private office for Mortimer. I thought that would be nice, and he has access to go outside and maybe sit at the fireplace and read, whatever he wants to do. Here I was just adding some landscaping in the back, and yeah. So guys, it's been so fun because I just recently moved to Nashville from Dallas, so it's just now starting to get cold, and right now I don't have a exact job per se. I am doing freelancing, so in my free time I'll do some Sims and record and edit and all that. It's been really fun and such a good experience, and I don't know, I just really like it a lot. And it's starting to get cold and I'm so excited, but I really need to get like some warmer clothes because I still have that Florida wardrobe. So yeah. So here I was just adding a water feature. I thought that would be kind of nice since the back of the property is a little bit plain. So I was scaling up the rocks. You just use control and the brackets to either make it bigger or smaller. Adding some fountains in the back so you can hear it as you swim. Yeah, I thought it was kind of nice. And then eventually I'll add some more landscaping around the back there, just so it's not so plain and it's a little bit more exciting. I thought about using a ladder, but I decided against it because they can still get in the pool without a ladder. And it just looks nicer without one, you know, if it lends itself to that type of design. But yeah, so I thought that maybe Bella would really like more simple contemporary design. So she would maybe hire a landscaper that's really into that type of style. Added a hot tub over there. Here I'm adding a walkway that goes around the water feature to the left side of the back of the house, because that's where the dining area is outside. But yeah, here was where the floor tiles were glitching on me. Has that ever happened to you guys? I don't know, like, I've seen it happen to a few other YouTubers, and they're like, what the heck, what is going on? But, I don't know. So I tried to, like, do a few different things to get around it. But it was pretty frustrating, and I was like, oh, what is going on? So eventually I just made these little, like, stepping stones as part of the design because I was like, I am not dealing with this anymore. So yeah, and then I was thinking about putting like a water feature here as well in another seating area, but I was like, nah, this build has way too many already. So that's when I decided to put the dining area instead. So you'll see that in a second. I'm going to put a few different couches and then come to that realization. I think something like this would be nice for maybe a community build or something like that, for the front of a community lot or something, but not for this house. So here I put a bar in, and eventually I put in a barbecue on the opposite side of the bar, but I changed the windows on it because I thought it looked weird on the inside of the house because you can see through the window, obviously. It goes all the way from the floor to the ceiling. So I switched those out with the smaller wall height windows. They're the same type of windows, they're just shorter. So I used those instead, and it ended up working out because I put the kitchen counters on that side as well. So I don't know, I thought it looked a lot nicer. And yeah, just adding some counters here outside for the barbecue and some stairs here so that the Sims can walk down and go to the dining area on the patio. I did try to make a covering for the patio area, but I decided against it because I didn't want it to have a platform. And that's another thing too that's kind of limiting, I think, is if you have a foundation on the house but you want to make a separate section or a separate building but don't want a foundation, I'm pretty sure it's impossible because it adds a foundation to whatever you build on the lot so that it matches, I guess. But oh well. So yeah, just adding a few little landscaping details there in the back so that it's pretty when you walk around it. And I thought it might be nice to have more patio here in the pool, so you can have a seating area and a yoga mat so that Bella or Cassandra or anybody really could do some yoga out there, get fit. And eventually I moved this little chair and the table over to the other side because I extended that area for the fireplace. And I was using these heating lamps because I thought, it might get cold and it might be nice while your guests are dining to be all warm and cozy. And I was just adding some detailing to the floor there so it's not all one color. I used that type of design throughout the build. I added it to the patio area here, as well as on the inside, which you'll see in part 2. I just thought it added a nice little detail to the flooring. Makes it look more expensive and customized. And maybe that stone was from the original house, so they wanted to incorporate it into this house. The old with the new. And I really wanted to focus on that the entire build, making sure that there was a good balance of old and new, so it reflects their family even though it's more modern. Just adding windows around the outside of the build and on the top floor. So you guys, I'm really excited. Like, I can't even tell you because I've been waiting to do this for a really long time. and I can't wait to share it with you all. And basically, the LP, Cassandra, is the youngest daughter. She's kind of punky, and the youngest son, Alexander, he's a whiz kid, and he really loves space and science. And then Mortimer, he's the author of some famous horror and thriller books that became films. And then Bella is just very glamorous, and she loves entertaining. So I tried to add a lot of areas in the house that would be good for parties and entertainment and things like that. This little area at the fireplace, I absolutely love it. It's my favorite part of the whole entire house. So yeah, I think that we're almost done with the outside of the house. Yeah, and I moved this over a little bit. So yeah, here's some more windows, and just planning out the kitchen. The dining room and a sitting room will be there next on the other side of the stairs. Yeah, here's the house. So here are the screenshots of some of my favorite areas in the house, or on the outside of the house. Hope you guys have an awesome week, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.